Ooh. Who is this? Hi, that's me, Igor Chernov, RPG Legends, again with me, obviously, right? It's like, we're supposed to be a reason, obviously, right? There's supposed to be a reason why I just bother you, right? If you just ever click on these videos of mine, I suppose, right? Or this podcast, anyway. Like, best RPGs of all time, according by me, my golden standard, or I don't know, just like my just list of best RPGs of all time in history. Objectively, it's best RPGs of all time in history, obviously, right? Like nobody gonna argue with that because I'm my own king here, obviously, right? Well, anyway, Path of Exile 1 and 2. Path of Exile still. Oh, that's the second one. Still not being released, but I think this game gonna be this game gonna be hit, right? Same with Titan Quest 2. That's what I think. Yeah, I mean, it's like back in the days, you totally realize what I never been the big fan of Diablo. Myself, 1, 2, because I always just realized what it was all about being a dungeon crawler, I suppose, dungeon crawler as a genre, or roguelike, whatever you call it. It's old as RPG genre itself, right? You got games like Gauntlet, you got, I don't know, just like the meaning of the word Gauntlet, right? When the people just mean it in the way of how you're supposed to understand it, just in gaming industry, right? All in all. Also, you got obviously old roguelikes, you got old dungeon crawlers like Eye of Beholder or old Neverwinter from DOS. You got all of this, right? And you got games like Path of Exile. Path of Exile with same with Titan Quest, with Diablo, it's typical hash and slash so-called RPG, right? But I mean, for some reason, I just can't just call it an RPG, because for me, action RPG is something like Fable Lost Chapters, or something like Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning, or Dark Messiah of Might and Magic, right? That's full-fledged action RPGs. If you just playing Diablo or Path of Exile, you totally understand what, yeah, it's like you playing hash and slash game, right? Mostly people who play these games, they don't care about the story, right? It's like my friend, right? Like, consider him a friend. For friends, I don't know about him as well, right? It's just my just no Twitch moderator, right? But again, it's like I consider him my friend. It's Hegberda, right? He basically just been like this. After my just everyday job, right? Oh, again, almost everyday job, I suppose, right? We got also a weekend, obviously, right? I was like, I just want to just come home and just mindlessly killing monsters, I suppose, right? In game, right? And I mean, that's what really just buying everybody by playing something like Diablo, right? But what I really don't like about Diablo, it's not like I don't like the Diablo entirely. I really like Blizzard back in the days. Was a really big fan, but I've been super overheated. I myself been super overheated fan of Blizzard or Silicon and Synapse, because I play all of the games. Starting from Lost Vikings, Rock and Roll Racing, I just basically just been like super fan of Blizzard back in the day. Still are, but again, I'm super overheated, right? And when you play something like Sacred or Path of Exile, you totally understand what people totally just put something much more greater into this, because the magic and I suppose the pros and cons, the thing about Blizzard, it's what we're doing something on just to make a hit, right? They totally know how to make an absolute hit. But again, in music, in book industry, anime, if you got a hit, it's not entirely need to be a monumental creation, right? It's not something what will live through, right? And I mean, games like Path of Exile are really just telling you what is just survive extremely well, right? Being made by just the people, just I suppose people who really just got a passion to make a hash and slash game, right? When you see something like Diablo 3, the first demonstration, you'll be like, wow, this game gonna be big, right? But in the end, it's just totally understand that Blizzard just make a lot of mistakes actually to just basically just destroy this game, both and community and the game itself. Games like Path of Exile, people also just saying like, well, I also destroyed the community at some point, because I totally just read a lot of just things about Path of Exile, but you totally realize what both just like people who stream Path of Exile, people who play Path of Exile, just people, I suppose, right? I also just got like one, I suppose friend. If you, I consider, I always consider somebody as a friend, I suppose, right? But they just, I don't know, just maybe they don't think just the same about me, right? So yeah, it's like I just. It's like asking people, and especially after the release of Diablo 4, they being like, well, yeah, the Diablo 4 is kinda great, and I been like, I just buy it for 80 bucks. But I mean, does it worth it? No, it was absolute shit, right? And I'd be like, why? Well, I don't know. It's just not the same experience, right? And much worse than Path of Exile, the old one, right? We're not talking about the second one, right? What will be released in early access in the end of this year, which is 2024, right? But again, I'm never been like a super fan of hash and slash games. I'm more like a fan of Titan Quest, right? Because again, this game more or less got a story. It's not just been an online featured game from back in the days. But I mean, when you when you play it for the first time, you totally realize what, yeah, it's like it's some people will say it's kind of old, right? Morally old, right? It's just a super old game. But again, the community are still here, right? It's much more alive than, for example, Dota, right? Dota and their community is objectively a dead game, right? By any means, right? I don't know, just any Dota people can fight me on that, I suppose, right? But I mean, when you just look as a observer, right? At the community and the game itself, which is Path of Exile, you totally understand what Path of Exile contain, what other hash and slash games not, right? The only rival, what I see to the Path of Exile, it's Titan Quest 2, obviously, right? And Old Sacred, right? Sacred Underworld. Because in Sacred Underworld, you also just got like very unique skill system, really unique characters at some point. Yeah, more or less they just try to just maybe at some point copy-paste what Blizzard tried to do. Like you got a gladiator, it's a barbarian, you got a battle mage, it's just a mage, right? But again, the Sacred was kinda unique. Sacred 2 was kinda 50-50 game, right? It was they tried to just Ascaron tried to do something, but again, this game was super cartoonish, and compared to Sacred Underworld, it was a downgrade. Now, right now, I think what Path of Exile 2 will become a super successful hit. Yeah, you got games like Last Epoch, right? But I mean, again, Last Epoch, I suppose, right? Well, Last Epoch was how I just, at least, that's at least how I just pronounce this game name, right? You can just judge me, I suppose, right? But I just, again, got no English skills at all, right? Nobody understand what I'm trying to say. But I mean, all in all, again, it's like, you totally realize what the battle system, how you level up your character, this unique skill tree, right? And just like, again, it's like only just skill tree would basically just be like kind of the same. It's Final Fantasy X, right? And it's kind of funny what people would be inspired by Final Fantasy X. They just and to be perfectly honest, Final Fantasy X also just was inspired by something, like, I mean, this skill tree, I suppose, right? But again, when you play Path of Exile, you totally realize what we're supposed to be like an infinity, I don't know, just, this game basically being a universe, right? At some point. Well, not like franchise universe or something like this, but it is a universe. Let's be honest, right? It's a fictionally thing. It's obviously a universe, but I'm telling about like what the game itself being like a globe, a standalone globe with its unique semi-intelligent gameplay, right? Yeah, you can say the same about Diablo, with Diablo being an absolute just hit, it just started all, but I totally understand what games like Sacred and just Path of Exile totally just by the community, how people still standing by the game. There's supposed to be a lot of people who just play only Path of Exile, right? Yeah, at some point you got like some other games would also just got like it's basically it's like the same type of gamers, I suppose, who play only one game, but I totally understand what if anything, Path of Exile worth it, right? You never got like this feeling when you just play a game like you smoking something bad, you know? That's what's happening when the single player gamer like me, for example, playing something like Dota, right? At some point, you just feeling yourself like disgust. You don't even want to see the game menu or music or whatever, I suppose, right? And you can just play Diablo, right? And just stop playing it, right? Since you just can, well, do only one run and that's it, right? That was your game, right? Like a single player game. But again, it's like, you totally understand from time to time, Path of Exile not supposed to be that annoying, right? And it's much more better creation than Diablo, by all means, right? I also surprisingly like the music, right? The music, well, it's not supposed to be like the best soundtrack of all time, but it's really good music actually, right? And I totally just need to just put just games like this to make a truly objective list, right? Like if you just want to make a list of all RPGs, all just historically best, I suppose, RPGs of all time, how are you not supposed to just play something like Sacred Underworld or Path of Exile, right? And for me, as a single player guy who just being you know, just like a fan of just a single player games, I suppose, right? I just myself think what it's really just a good thing to just to put something like Path of Exile 1 and 2 into this list, right? Yeah, I'm obviously not an expert because there's supposed to be a lot of people who just put much more, I suppose, greater amount of hours, right, into this game, right? This game was their life at some point, right? But I totally realized what Path of Exile community is much more intelligent than the community of Dota, for example, right? Or any other game, right? And you got like infinity possibilities of how you make a build of a character. Even if you suck in this game pretty bad, right? You totally realize what you really just got the potential, right? You totally just can just do something. Where just free-to-play model not supposed to be that annoying, right? It's almost like Dota. If you don't like something, you always can just buy, right? You can invest some money. But let's be honest, it's just at some point you totally realize what when you're playing something like this, like Path of Exile 1, you actually want to invest money into it, right? Why? Because you just want to thank for developers, right? And it's like I'm myself never been a fan of hash and slash games, right? But again, I think what Path of Exile objectively better than Diablo. Always was and always will be, right? Blizzard lost their chance to resurrect the franchise, which is make a super AAA, I suppose AAA-ish game like Diablo 4, and it just cost you extremely much. And do you actually need to buy it? I think no, right? It's better to just wait for the early access of Path of Exile 2 and decide for yourself, right? I myself really just want to play Path of Exile 2, right? More than play just Path of Exile 1 right now, for example. But I mean, Also, I really just been since I just only for hash and slash game what totally just been for me is Titan Quest, first one, right? And I totally just I totally kind of like semi hyped about the Titan Quest 2, right? So yeah, that said, that was me. Again, I really just need to play this game. Yeah, I'm not an expert, obviously, right, in hash and slash genre, right, because it's basically just a whole different section of gaming, aside from regular single player RPGs, but let's be honest, it's really a good thing to just play Path of Exile, overall franchise, I suppose, right, if you can call it a franchise, 1 and 2 games, right, into this list and totally just be done with it, I suppose, right? Because it's totally deserved, right? So it was me, again, RPG Legends, with me, Igor Shunov, best RPGs of all time, historically, best RPGs of all time, according by me, that's my list, right? And my podcast called RPG Legends.